Alison, you've asked me two great questions. Let me just share something with the viewers before we continue, and I'll ask those questions and then I'll continue with my slides. And first, if you heard the baby in the background, please be rest assured that the parent of the child is downstairs with the baby at all times. I am up here, they are down there. So we don't want anyone write in the comments, hey, what happened to the baby? The baby is safe and fine. And doing well, I should say. It's really cool having a grandson.
With no cradle cap as well, might I point out.
Oh, he had a little bit. However, because of course we're talking about cradle cap, and we are. My daughter lives with a formulator. It wouldn't be fair, or it wouldn't be wise for me to allow that and not create something. So she actually went and found something to put together for the baby, and I just looked over the ingredients to make sure it made sense, and then we made it. We made a hair oil for the baby for his cradle cap, and then also I used my product, which I'll share a little bit about. I used my product. She used their product a little bit on his hair too to help. So he had a little bit, but it's getting better. His scalp is getting better, which is, of course, as we're talking, having a healthy scalp is key. When it comes to addressing our hair. Healthy scalp, of course, it leads to healthy hair.
One thing I did learn recently was that cradle cap is the same as adult dandruff, which is they're both seborrheic dermatitis, aren't they, or eczema?
Look at you saying the word. Yes,
I like to learn these things.
Yes. We are amazing. Yes, absolutely correct. It's just like baby. It's not really baby dandruff, but we'll call it baby dandruff just for simplicity's sake. And is a part of a baby, a part of its growth, the hair, the scalp, and all that. It's part of the growth. Learning how to take care of it is key in order to help the baby have healthy scalp, so that hair can grow. Boy or girl, doesn't matter who. A healthy scalp is a healthy scalp. And so that was the disclaimer that I wanted to add. One of the questions that you asked me was to explain what keratin is, and keratin, and it's a great question. It's an interesting question, and I'm only going to address the keratin, but the keratin is part of the main building blocks of a hair shaft, and there are a couple of different components in a hair shaft, but because you asked me specifically about keratin, it's the protein responsible for the hair structure.
Right.
So in a hair shaft, when it's getting built and created, all of the amino acids, the water, the lipids, the keratin also acts to control the physical characteristics of our hair shafts. So that's just a little small bite-sized answer to
I guess
what keratin is.
That's why when people see the words keratin on products, sometimes they assume it's a really good product, but obviously they're not taking into account there could be a lot of ingredients in there that aren't so good for the scalp, and could obviously trigger off your eczema in your scalp then, couldn't they? So it is important, as you just said, to have a look. And I think that if nothing else, maybe that should be one of the themes throughout our whole time together. It's important to read all of the ingredients on a label and a bottle. And we'll just, because you've caveated there, let me go there and say there are some ingredients that are part of products that are used as marketing ingredients. And so if you have a bottle, for instance, and it might say, I don't know, honey or jojoba oil, and that's like it's in big letters and it's prominent. If you turn it around and discover that in the ingredient list it's way to the bottom, that means that there's a lower amount of that ingredient in it. So it may not be as effective as if it was at the top of the ingredient list, because that means if any ingredient is at the top, it means that there's more of that amount in that particular product than the ones listed below it. So marketing ingredients are a great thing to be aware of. And so when we go to the store or go to the shop and we're buying a product, we're not going to be taking in by what the front of the label says. We're going to turn it around and look at what the back of the label is. And this is where the costing database is really helpful, in that when we can take those INCI names and put it into the database, and then
check what function that is. The second question that you asked me was when I transitioned from perming my hair to going to learn how to take care of my own hair and wear it as it should be.
So from chemical
what were some of the products that what were some of the products that I made? And of course, now we're talking about hair, and hair being hydrated is key. And so as I was learning how to create hair products for myself, I needed to, first you have to understand what does our hair need most, and that's water or some kind of moisture, water, aloe vera juice, whatever. And so the very first product I got hold of was just aloe vera juice. And that's what I used.
The stuff you can drink.
The stuff you can drink, yes. At the time, I just went to there's a big store. I went to the store or the shop and just bought some off the shelf aloe vera juice and sprayed that in my hair as moisture. The second product is the one that I made, and that was learning how to, as well as hydrating our hair to help keep the moisture, we also need to retain it. That means keep it. And so the second product I made was designed to help keep in the aloe vera juice that I put in my hair. There's nothing like in the morning when you first wake up and you spritz your hair with water and you go outside, depending on what the weather is like, say it's a hot day, and then within a few hours, the hair is dry. Well, the hair is dry because we've gone outside. And if it's a hot day, then all of the heat has drawn all of that moisture out of the hair shafts. And so it's naturally going to become dry. Well, that's because also that the hair shaft wasn't protected to retain that moisture. And so the second product that I started using was this sealing hair butter that I learned how to make for my family and I. And really those were the only two things. I didn't change my shampoo. I didn't change my conditioner. It was all about learning the language of my hair, what it was saying at any given time. And then it's almost like retraining it to understand, hey, wait, I am getting moisturized. I can keep moisture. I don't have to be dry. It was almost like that. So those two items were really important and key when I started. For one, getting my hair back to healthy. My scalp was fine. My hair was the concern. So one, getting my hair back to healthy. And then two, once it was healthy, aiding it to grow. And so as I became more savvy in learning about ingredients, then I don't have a sensitivity to essential oil, so I would add peppermint in it because peppermint has a peppermint essential oil, because peppermint essential oils has components in it that can go all the way down to the lowest layer of our scalp skin and stimulate the blood vessels, saying, hey, you need to make some more hair.
And what I found interesting by what you just said there is you're not using many products and you're not using many ingredients either, or you keep it very, very simple.
Really simple at first, because I needed to understand how my hair worked and to go off. And I was making a huge transition from it being permed and having heat in it every day to not. And so after that period of rest, when I took the wig off, then I had to learn how to hear it talk almost, because it was saying something to me. And then if I'm adding lots of products or I'm trying new things, then I'm not going to know what works well and what doesn't work well. And I'm not learning how to listen to my hair. So I only did those two things for years. Now I still washed it and I still conditioned it. And then I would add like a hair mask. I did hair masks, but on a daily basis, every day, it was hydrated and sealing that hydration. And I did it at night as well, because then the aloe vera juice had more time to sink into my hair, more time to saturate into my hair. And so in the morning, my hair would be more supple, softer, easier to manage, and I wouldn't have to put anything on it. Maybe I would never put anything on it. I'll just get up, do it in a style, and then away that I go, come home.
You go. And I should point out to people as well, but obviously everyone's skin journey, everyone's hair or scalp journey is going to be very, very different. What works for one doesn't work for another, which is why it's a good idea not to really introduce more than one new product at a time to see how if you do suffer with eczema on the scalp, to see how your eczema it either improves or gets worse. Because there's nothing worse than using lots of new products and seeing a massive change for the worse and not knowing which one of those products has caused the problem and having to literally try each one individually again, see which one caused it, if it is one or more.
Absolutely, 100% agree. And even in using those new products, using them over a space of time.
Yeah.
Because we would have already had a product in its finished state. So that means all of those ingredients are already added. And so it's a final product. And so that might not work very well, but we may never know, or a viewer may never know which ingredient what it was, but giving it time to work, unless the reaction is immediate. And if the reaction is immediate, then discontinue use straight away. But also giving that product enough time for your hair and scalp to be to react, or to see how, if it's affinitive to your scalp or not.
And interesting you said that as well, because I mentioned in a previous video that my very first allergic reaction, even though it didn't happen straight away, it took several hours to kick in. It was a hair product, like an oil-free hair gel. And my face, my head, my neck all had the bee sting effect. It's like a severe allergic reaction. And that's what actually triggered off my eczema, even though obviously in my family, genetics or genes. So I think by only using that one product, I knew that product, even though we couldn't specify, even the doctors couldn't specify which ingredient caused my allergic reaction and actually put me in hospital for 3 days. Doctors couldn't specify which ingredient was causing the problem. They just said, keep away from that product. And as a result, I kept away from the actual manufacturer. So it's definitely worth pointing that to viewers, And
a wise person like you, Alison, will be able to tell that reaction straight away and then know how to
live. You live and learn, don't you? It's all by experience.
Yeah. So if there's anyone watching out, the viewers, those were Alison's words of wisdom on this video. What you put in your hair. Read
the wise old woman says, one product at a time, especially for you eczema sufferers. One product at a time. Yeah.
One product at a time. And so let's quickly go back. So I mentioned the Cosing database, and that's a great website to go and learn the functions. Its search engine is a little finicky. And so if a inky name is entered wrong, it may or may not return results. And so I'm saying that up front because I wouldn't want any viewer to go there and then go to the website and then put the inky name in and then just get frustrated because nothing is coming up. It is finicky and it has to be precise in entering the words into the text search box. And so let me show an alternative with the viewers to a website that's a little more friendlier. It's called cosmeticsinfo.org, and it isn't as text sensitive, and you don't necessarily have to put an inky name in there. You could also put a common name. So for instance, I could just put olive oil instead of the inky name for olive oil. This is a great website also that will teach people or inform people of the function of an ingredient. Sometimes there is the origin of the ingredient, and there is also information about if that particular ingredient is used in other places besides cosmetics, and also in whatever cosmetics it may be used in the industry. So this is a nice one. This is a nice one. Yeah.
Will it also give the viewers, will it also give them alternative common names as well? Because you mentioned the inky name is the international name. So there might be different common names for the same thing.
If there's a common name, it'll mention that as well. Yeah. And then, so this is me. I am there. And I think I already mentioned, but I'll share in my hair care journey, the product that I have to sell now is the sealing part of my hair care journey. So the product that I made for my daughter and I, after I just shared, I moisturized my hair with olive oil, and then I would seal the shafts to protect that moisture in for as long as possible.
I mean aloe vera, not olive oil.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Look, yes, aloe vera. Thank you for the correction. Yes, I could still put olive oil on it, but it wasn't hydrating my hair. I used aloe vera, so I appreciate you saying that. Yes, when I was finished with the aloe vera, sealing it in with my hair butter. And so my hair butter is called Be Blessed. My hope is that Thank you. My hope is that whoever uses it, because it is made with ingredients that haven't gone through a great deal of processing from its origin to the final product, which is my product. It is made with ingredients that haven't gone through it: shea butter, jojoba oil, olive oil, sweet almond oil, vitamin E, all natural.
Fantastic.
A natural. And so let me just say that we say all natural. All ingredients are natural. All of them started from nature. It's the degree of processing that is key. And so these ingredients that I'm sharing with you that we use, and also the ones that you use in your product, Alison, have not gone through a huge degree of processing. They're as close to their original state as possible. Yeah.
That'll be one of the processes.
And so the idea of using that product is after you moisturize your hair with whatever solvent or whichever liquid you're going to use, water, aloe vera juice, a hydrosol, which is that's another video, friend. It's talking about those things, right?
We love hydrosols, don't we?
Then you can take a little bit of my product, put it on your hands, rub it on the shafts of your hair, and then go out knowing that at least you won't lose as much moisture from your hair as if you didn't put anything on it and you just sprayed your hair and then went out. So there are my details.
And just to be clear, your hair product is for anybody. It can be anybody with normal scalp, dry scalp, eczema, psoriasis, anything like that. It's just as long as you have no reaction to the ingredients themselves, which people shouldn't, it's anybody can use it.
Anyone can. I will say it has sweet almond oil in it. Right, and so some people might have a sensitivity to almond oil. So is that caveat. And then there is a variation that has essential oils in it. And so some people might have essential oils in it. And so I have one that has no essential oils and then one that does. Both variations have sweet almond oil. So it's probably important to say if the viewers are sensitive to any kind of nut like that, then be warned.
But other than that, be blessed.
be blessed. I mean, it blessed our hair, and I'm glad you said it, Alison. Not everyone has the same reaction to a product. What I like about mine though is because I live in a multi-generational home, and so to your point, I have the texture hair that I have, which is like 4C. My daughter's hair is a lot thicker than mine. But then I also live with someone who has very fine, thin hair. And
so for those who don't know what 4C means, it's the type of curl, isn't it?
Yes.
It's the tightness of curl. So there we go.
Yes. And so the person that has fine hair won't use as much of the product. And we don't need a lot anyway. But that person will use way less product on their hair, but it works just as effectively. I remember, let me just tell you a story, way more than the viewers need to know, but I'm going to tell them. When I first started my business and I was getting ready to get the product assessed, my household was my testers. And I remember on the person with the fine hair, I took a little bit of the product and their hair it looked dry. And I remember putting it a little bit on the hair, and the hair started curling like this.
Wow!
And it went shiny, and I was like, "Whoa!" It just isn't for anybody. Yeah, and so it just isn't for a particular type of hair. It really can be used for any hair. Yeah. Knowing the amount and how products react on someone's hair is where they're going to have the knowledge, because
they start small. They start small, the smallest amount.
Yes, and so
hands can't use
melt it. Yes, and it doesn't need a lot every day. So I know for the person in my house that has the thin hair, they may not have been able to use it every day because it is quite a heavy feeling ingredient. Even on my own hair, I don't use a lot of it because I don't want product buildup by the end of the week, and so I use it really sparingly, enough to coat the shafts but not enough to weigh it down, because that doesn't help having product weigh down in your product buildup in our hair either. So yes, those are my details. Reach out if you have any questions or you just want to have a chat. I'm open to do that.
And I have to say, I've actually used your product many a time because I have a different curl pattern throughout my hair, about 3 different curl patterns. So I tend to use your product right at the very, very back of my hair where my curls are tightest. And again, based on your very kind words, I got myself some aloe vera juice, spritz all my hair, and use your product directly at the back and a lot less at the front. So it does work, folks. Need to give it a go. It's fantastic stuff.
And while Alison is promoting mine, I'm going to promote yours too, right? Because we're almost together. My grandbabies, one of them had some very dry patches, eczema on her arms. And so we use Tigs and Moo, and it just clears that up right away. So we've been talking too also, and now we're talking about external things. And I realize we're at that point of conversation in our dialogue. Earlier on, we talked about things internally. So as well as even for both of our products, whatever we do, we can talk about the external, and Alison's helps very much with the external part, the skin part, the damaged part of my granddaughter's arms, skin. But we can also talk about internally. So there are some things that her mother is doing internally to help see what's irritating, because the eczema on the outside is an indication of something happening on the inside.
Exactly. And
so they go hand in hand. She's doing a complete review of the diet, the health, all of that for her to make sure. And Tigs and Moo is an integral part of that. We need that.
Yeah.
So thanks.
Thank you. Right. Well, Montreece, all that leaves me to say is a massive thank you for agreeing to do the interview. I really appreciate all the educating and information you've given us today. Viewers, I hope you really enjoyed that, and feel free to comment, feel free to like, subscribe and comment, and hit the notification for when the next video is coming out. Bye for now. Montreece, again, thank you, and I'll be speaking to you soon.
Bye viewers, see ya.